Stefon Diggs is going to have 4 babies by the end of this year.
She's a part of the tribe. You know, they might as well go ahead, get some land, get a compound, and call it a day. Raise your kids together, man.
She left a man who was moving in the streets reckless. And then she got with another man who was moving in the streets reckless.
Thank you, Cardi, for exposing the truth that many of us already knew.
Appreciate
it was
you.
not an upgrade just because he's cuter than me.
Only 25% of women actually actively initiate sex.
For us, most of the time, initiation has to do with our being out.
We don't really care to be needed. And women want to be needed. That needed thing keeps them from initiating.
She may not just run up to you and pull your pants down, but she'll let you know, hey, listen, I'm available.
Do we just want women to look the other way?
Like your grandmama did. That's how she stayed married to Willie Earl for 50 years.
Philosophically, I can still say that in looking away, she recognizes who the guy is. And she says, you know what? This is something I'm not going to focus on.
There is wisdom in knowing what you can bear. And sometimes y'all be going looking for shit, knowing good and damn well you can't deal with it. Welcome to yet another episode of the BLC Pod. You know somebody's missing. You would think that maybe me and S&M are like the same person. We can't be on the same episode, at least for 2 episodes. But before we get started, we got to shout out our sister, S&M Jones. She may not be in the building, but she is certainly in our hearts. You see that I did there, S&M? You know what I mean? So, you know, you'll be missed. You heard? But I got the fellas with me though, right? I got some of the fellas with me, which means this is going to be maybe a toxic or toxically masculine conversation. Although one of us might take the fall for the estrogen, we shall see as we have our conversation. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. Man, I feel weird saying it, right? Like, subscribe, follow. 1 week off, and I don't even know how to say it. Like, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. But anyways, my guys in the building. Let's start with my guy, Jay. I feel like I just seen you, Jay. What's happening?
You know what, man? Just good friendships are like that, man. Brotherhood is like that. I feel like you just, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Glad to be here, man. BLC Pod, rocking. My voice is back. Thank y'all for rocking with me when I didn't have no voice, man. You know what I'm saying? People in the comments trying to speak up for me, and what I appreciate everybody and their input and their assistance. And speaking of inputs and assistance, I don't know if y'all know, man, Michael Blackson fucked up the perfect setup. Perfect. Yo, he had a chick who was like, yo, I'll give you not only a hall pass, I'll give you 3 hall passes a month, right? Yeah, guess how he fucked it up? Yo, he got the girl pregnant. Yes, that's right. That's right. You getting 4 coochies. And you can't just nut him I'm sorry, I'm going, you can't pick just one club to shoot up in. I'm disappointed in you, dumb mother sucker Jew. That's all I wanted to say.
That sounds strangely appropriate or familiar even. Mother sucker you. Yes, and of course, the expert himself, Delvin in the building. Pew, 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 pew.
My girl S&M is out. Shout out to her. But of course, I have to do my red pill city boy check while, you know, just so S&M, I'll have something to talk about on the show. But I found out those city boys in China are up 10,000. They got the laws changed so that community property is no longer on the table. In divorce, it goes by payment history. So even if you sign your wife to the deed to the house after you get married, doesn't matter because you've been paying on it longer. So the guys are safe. Hopefully that helps the marriage rates in China because they're having the same problems that we are with the low marriage rates. So you can't clean them out. If you marry a millionaire, you marry him for 6 months and say, look, I know the guy was worth, $1 million, but I won't have, even though I've been married to him 15 minutes. So shout out to the city boys in China. Maybe we can learn something here. So good on them.
Would that be Shanghai boys? No.
The Shanghai boys, yes. The Hong Kong boys.
You
The
see what I
Beijing
did?
boys.
I tried.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. First of all, I got to say, shout out to y'all. S&M holding it down last week. You know what I'm saying? Your boy was traveling. hurt my heart. The first time ever I missed an episode. So shout out to y'all, man, for holding it down. It was a fantastic episode. It gotta feel great to be able to leave and then know that your people gonna still hold it down, and y'all held it down. So I really, really appreciate that. During the time while I was gone, I was in Medellin, Colombia. It's weird to say that to some people because they automatically assume a nigga went down there for some pussy.
No.
Yeah, they automatically assume
Was he
that.
down in Colombia?
Yeah, I mean,
First I've heard of it. No.
No, dead ass, right? Because certain places have so much more to bring than just that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pretend like that's not there. But for me, like in terms of like quality of life, you know what I mean, cost of living. I had a barber come to the crib, bro. You know what I'm saying? He touched me up. He tightened me up. You know what I mean? He touched me up, pause. But no, I mean, he had the enhancements. He came to the crib, all that. It was like $40. At home, enhanced service, $40. I'm like, yo, I could do this shit all the fucking time. I love my barber here, but he charged $40. I gotta go there. There's no enhancements. You know what I'm saying? So, like, pardon me if I see opportunity and appreciate culture. You know what I'm saying? That y'all just be thinking every time a black man is going out there, it got to be for some fucking vagina. You know what I mean? But speaking of vagina, right? Speaking of, but first, shout out to all my people in Medellin. You know what I mean? But speaking of vagina, okay, apparently Snap, you know what I'm saying? Like, people's Snap checks are coming out. And some people are surmising that it's bringing the price of coochie down. There's a markdown on coochie. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got to tell you, from what I heard on the streets, that was the case in Medellin, but they didn't have Snap to begin with, so never. In fact, word on the street is the exchange rate is really fucking niggas up right now.
You got extensive connections to the street. You know what's happening. You got an ear to the street. I respect that.
Oh, I mean, no, I was talking about the women here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that if you're into global economics, you understand that the dollar is weakening, and so it wasn't what it once was. You feel me? And as a global citizen, I just got to say, what we do here in America has consequences in terms of what happens out there. Okay? So yes, while the price of pussy is going down here in America, apparently because of the dollar.
No, this is good economic reporting. Keep going.
Yeah, this is our economic segment. I'm here for
this
it.
is an economic segment. I'm glad we're branching out, being more cerebral. Let's go.
I mean, is coochie not a commodity? I mean,
yes, it is.
In some places, it clearly is.
I mean, here's our financial times segment. We always talk about financial literacy. This is it.
We do.
But no, listen. All sincerity, you know what I'm saying? These are hard times. And I think the least that we can do as men is judge less. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Shorty Snap is not snapping, then maybe she got to pull out the snapper. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. This is a mixture of S&M's not here.
She got to pull out
and
the snapper.
I was off last week, and it's all guys here. You dig what I'm saying? So, man, okay, I'm going to stop now before I go super tight. The show hasn't even started yet.
The toxicity is building for 2 weeks.
Toxicity per billion.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I had to finally let it out or anything. But go ahead, man. It's Jay.
Okay, yeah. Speaking... So, speaking of being economical, right, and being, what's the word, thrifty, you know what I'm saying, with your resources, right? Cardi is joining a birth co-op, apparently. I mean, that's the unofficial news. I mean, she's baby mama number 4, basically. And people are wondering if she's spiraling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me give you some context. Stefon Diggs is going to have 4 babies, I think, by the end of this year, okay? Almost enough for a whole squad, at least, well, in a different sport. So the question here is, Cardi was bragging about her man, who she picked, and she's with her tongue out, you know what I mean? Like, she's winning this thing if there's a thing to win. And we're back looking at Cardi like, Cardi, what's happening? What do y'all think? I mean, is she spiraling? Is this just the chaotic nature of celebrity relationships? Are we looking at the wrong person?
I mean, 4 baby mamas in it at this point, I think, people are just kind of faulting Stefon Diggs for being himself. I mean, she signed up for this. I mean, listen, it's the same thing with guys at that level. who's gonna stop him? He wants to have 4 baby mamas. You know what? Somebody's already signing up to be baby mama number 5. This is not gonna be the end of it, you know? Like I said, I think a co-op is a really, really good way of framing it, you know? Maybe it's a timeshare, but I like co-op, you know, so I think I'm gonna co-op that term. She's a part of the tribe, you know, they might as well go ahead, get some land, get a compound, and call it a day. Raise your kids together, man. And it'll make Christmas time a lot simpler. But, I mean, that's my take.
I got to be honest. You know, I'm going to say something that most of us as men understand very candidly and vividly. And that is condom sex is not the same as raw sex. Right?
I'm glad somebody said it.
Like, we got to be, fuck it. We're going to be honest today. Okay? Condom sex, say it with y'all. Condom sex. There's a saying.
It's not the same.
It's not the same as raw
Not
sex.
the same.
There's another saying. Raw is, you guessed it, law.
The law.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently, this is the rules that Stefon plays by. Right? I mean, let's be honest. This is why niggas are shooting up the club. You gotta imagine how many times you gotta fuck the chick for her to be pregnant. It wasn't like, oh, you know what? You fucked 3 other bitches one time. You know what I'm saying? The likelihood of that happening is not that great. Okay. For y'all niggas out there who don't know the math, okay, a woman ovulates like 4 to 5 days, okay, out of the month. Okay. Which means, you know, start doing the math. You got 30 days, you know what I'm saying? You on the road, you know what I'm saying? You're an athlete, you got shit to do. Like my brother, I mean, how much shooting in the club are you doing? But apparently you're not wearing a condom. Okay. And so, I mean, listen, it is what it is. He got the money. Okay. I mean, fuck it. The only reason why we really care, because I remember there's like a guy, I think his name was like Andrew Camardi. He was a football player. He had 12 kids. I think he barely remembered all 12 of his kids' names or some shit like that, right? So we ain't know the baby mama though, so we didn't really care long enough. We just only care that he didn't know their names. You feel what I'm saying? So in this case, I think Stefon will know their names. You know what I'm saying, for the most part. And so will Cardi, because you know her kid's gonna be a part of that brew. And but to your point, Jay, I feel like this is so great for men too, because y'all women swear y'all be upgrading when y'all leave a nigga, don't y'all? y'all be swearing like, woo, girl, he's cuter, you know, he's taller, he's all big and tall. You right. You think the last nigga put you through something, right? You left the last nigga's like, I go for my friend, you know what I'm saying? I'm sharing with the bitches. So is that the difference, right? The other guy fucked your friend, but this other guy, he fucked 3 other bitches and he got them pregnant too. Like, where's the line? I'm just asking if there's a such line. So I do think the winner is not Offset, because he's the person in the relationship. You know who the real winner is? Not that there needs to be a winner or that there should be a winner. Is that, yes, ladies, sorry, the upgrade ain't always the upgrade. Sometimes it's a downgrade that's disguised as an upgrade. It's going to take you to hell, okay? And I feel like that's what's happening to Cardi. All that bragging you was doing. You know, Cardi is going to get what she deserves.
She is getting what she's deserved, because she's getting what she asked for. She wanted this man. She left a man who was moving in the streets reckless, okay? And then she got with another man who's moving in the streets reckless. So I'm asking myself what the difference is. Maybe is that Diggs was more upfront with it. Maybe she wanted it to be on the front side of it. Maybe she wants somebody to tell her, hey, listen, this is what it is. This is how it's going to be. Because apparently, you know what I'm saying, she was very excited to be there. So excited she's doing interviews with her tongue out. She's and doing all these extra motions. Now, my question, though, is, back to Delvin's point, when there's a girl 5 or 6 or whoever, or however many he gets, and she's doing interviews with that same energy, I wonder if there'll be enough energy to go around, right? I ain't knocking Stefon Diggs, because maybe he's on the Nick Cannon plan. So I'm going to see how that plays out. You know what I mean? Like, I do suggest the co-op, and then she can meet her other sister wives or whatever, you know, how work it out. And then, who knows? But yeah, right now, Team Cardi is losing. Not that you can win or lose a breakup, although you really can. You really can. She's losing. She's losing bad. You down bad, girl. And I like you. I mean, even before plastic surgery, she was kind of cute. I'm sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
Hey, but listen, I'll say this, though, before you go, Delvin. I'll say this one last thing. The other thing that Cardi exposes is that when it really boils down to it, a lot of times a chick only really cares about looks. You know what I'm saying? Or because if you really think about all the things that she talked about with Stefon, it was like, he's so big and tall, you know what I'm saying? I hope my baby has his face. So like a lot of times, man, like, yes, women will make some of the dumbest choices because they like the nigga and how he looks. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Cardi, for exposing the truth that many of us already knew and just being an example. You know what I mean? Like, haha, we told you. You know what I'm
We
saying? It
appreciate
was
you.
not an upgrade just because he's cuter than me, bitch. That's Offset is saying. That's not me saying.
Just to be light skinned. That's just called it.
Does anybody know, like, the little pregnancy, the little ovulation apps, right? Can you
Yeah.
add people to that? Is that like a thing, or is it just like your ovulation? I don't know.
You can definitely share like the calendar. And I don't know if you can like have them in their Google calendar or
Synced?
something. But yeah, you can definitely like post it. I've received post text. You know what I mean? So yeah, they can share out.
Hey, but you know what I heard though? Like if they live together, like their cycles would sync. You know what I'm saying?
I
have
It's
heard that.
counterproductive, right? Because if I'm the guy and I got 3 women living together, it would suck that their cycles ran. Like, what? I thought the whole point of having multiple of y'all was in case one of y'all was in the shop, I'd still be out here, right?
Right. Now the whole squad is down.
Right. Now I gotta still go outside. I thought the whole point of having y'all inside was so like what? Am I the only one who's heard that? Okay, I mean, this is definitely
No,
all
it's
guys
not
talk.
you. That is you.
The syncing cycles is a thing. It's a valid point. But if they're gonna be tripping, you can get all over at one time. I'm not saying that women. I'm just saying if everybody's gonna be upset in the house, it can be over at one time. Then you don't have to hear no all the time.
Nah, it could. That's the whole point. If one of them is no, the other one is yes. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand the whole syncing thing. That would really be. Go ahead, man. We die.
No, I mean, like if the whole squad is down, right? Then if somebody's not in the mood, are they all not in the mood? I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, that kind of ties into a study I was reading that says about 25%, only 25% of women actually actively initiate sex on a regular basis. And I assume these are probably married women, but we'll throw in the long-term relationship women as well. And does that track with what you guys have kind of seen or heard in life? I mean, I looked at multiple studies and they all kind of saying the same thing. And why do you guys think that is? And is that a result of women being bored or not wanting to tell the guy, listen, I'm not really feeling it. I've got some other issues going on. I mean, is a conversation even being had? I would like to think so, because if she started off dating, jumping off the dresser and flying around the room, and now she's only doing that 25% of the time, and on her own accord, would you feel like, man, I'm really kind of unloved? I'm down bad over here because the only time she wants to toot it up is if I ask. Is that something guys should really kind of feel some kind of way about in the dress, or just let it ride?
I mean, as long as she's riding, right?
That's a fact.
But when she's not riding, and she's
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
I dated
it's hard to
myself by
initiate
saying
sex and have
"toot
her
it up."
riding.
That's what the old people say.
Tooted and booted.
I think it's definitely a problem. I don't think it's a new problem. I think it's a systemic problem. I think, ironically, women want to be a man's everything. They say because they don't want him to find anything else from any other woman. I mean, I'm talking about the monogamous women, not the poly women. Y'all good over there. Y'all chill. So monogamous women want their man to get everything from them, and they want to be the man's everything, right? Well, come on, ladies. He doesn't want to get up all the time and initiate stuff. You know what's funny? I've been thinking that maybe the problem is that men want to be wanted. We don't really care to be needed, right? And women want to be needed. And they will use the fact that we really want this sex to make it the part where they're needed. And so that needed thing keeps them from initiating. Because I've heard women say they have the same level of sexual energy as men, right? So if they're not initiating at least 50% of the time, it means they're being fake. I call cap. I blow the whistle. I throw the flag. Come on, y'all, stop being fake. So no, I think it's I don't doubt the stats. I think, matter of fact, I think if you factor in the accountability factor, then then these stats are probably inflated, and it's probably more like 15%. Yeah, and it's sad. People should be ashamed of themselves. Like, just step it up.
As they was talking at the top of the show, I said that somebody's gonna have to take a shot of estrogen, and I think that person might be me. Here we go, do. In the sense that somebody's got to speak up for the ladies. First, let me say, though, however, that I do think that the number is probably accurate. Women themselves will say these things. So I do think that that's definitely You know, a lot of women don't. Matter of fact, one of our co-hosts was supposed to be on tonight would have said, yeah, that's me, proudly. But I don't think it's for the reason that Jay said. Well, maybe not solely, right? Because I do think, number one, in relationships, men are the hunters, right? We're the ones who are supposed to go out there and kill the prey, right? We kill. Even our words for sex describes our ability to go out there and get it, right? So I do got to account for a certain percentage of that being because patriarchy or, you know, just the nature of the game, right? So that's number one. Now, if you're talking about a relationship over a period of time, I get it. But again, people kind of fall into their roles, right? If you're the protector, the provider, the hunter, then maybe, hey, you're the one that kind of, you know, is always initiating. Now, I do think men have to communicate like, hey, you know, sometimes it'd be great if you yada, 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 right? So I do get that it is a problem that men should talk about and communicate. But here's the thing that I also feel like women are going to probably appreciate me for saying. It depends on what you define as initiate. Meaning that, for example, if your initiation starts when you get home after 10 o'clock, had a couple of beers, maybe a couple of joints, and now you're rubbing a leg, that's your initiation, cool. So you technically did initiate. But then some women will say a text message throughout the day might have been the initiated that maybe she needed in order to turn up by the time you got home. So I guess it just depends on what you mean by initiate, right? So I'm saying that, yes, I do agree if the stat, because I think most of the time people are talking about, hey, just when we're about to get it popping. But then I hear women say, hey, you know what? You got to, you know, mentally stimulate me. You got to do yada, yada, yada. And I believe them when they say that, right? I do believe that sometimes, unlike men, where for the most part, you know, when it's time to rock and roll, shit, there's been times I've had an argument and I should be upset, but I was focused. The logic told me, nigga, fuck your upset and go ahead and enjoy your night. You can be upset, sleep, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what that shit does to a nigga, especially late at night. But my point is, that may or may not be a woman's ability, right? She may be caught up in her emotions and feel some type of way. Like, for example, one of the things I would do, cleaning. I did not know that cleaning around the house was such a fucking, like, the fact that, boom, she come to the crib, shit's, sometimes when I want to get some, I just clean up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's me. It technically is me initiating sex, right? Because I'm cleaning. Because I know that might be what helps initiate her. But technically, that's not me initiating sex. My dick get out. You know what I'm saying? For us, most of the time, initiation has to do with our dick being out. You know what I'm saying? Well,
I whipped it out. I just initiated. I whipped it out.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is it's all about perspective. I do get that from a man's perspective. A lot of times we are the initiators. We do want to be wanted. I do think we need to communicate that. I also think that we can create the environment, right? Because if we understand our woman and if she maybe communicates to us or we kind of know the things that will get her in the mood, whether it's cooking, cleaning, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, then I think that, you know, it just depends on how you define initiate. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, the numbers may be on the surface, but I think as men, we have to expound our thinking and really redefine initiate, because it's not just simply about rubbing on her leg just because you want to get some, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and Nick, you made a really good point. You kind of
I
stole
try.
my
Thank you,
thunder,
man.
but it's okay.
That's what
And
happens when you introduce the topics, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
it
You got to
happens.
risk it.
So, and could it, a lot of this be that it looks different and it's not being said, hey, this is what it looks like to me? You know, I don't know if you've seen the little it's a little skit that's been going on like Facebook or Instagram where the wife comes down and she's wearing like some little booty shorts and a crop top, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm getting some tonight. Then another night she comes down and she comes down dressing like she's going Eskimo ice fishing, and he's like, oh, I'm not getting it tonight.
That's a fact.
So yeah, I think I think maybe to your point, maybe there's some nonverbal cues that, or some non-physical cues, like, okay, she's got a good robe on tonight. Okay, this might be my night.
No bonnet on, you know what I'm
No bonnet.
saying?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
All right, let me put the kids to bed. She don't have a bonnet on. Yeah, no. In all seriousness, those are something that you have to take into consideration, I think.
Oh, but you know what's funny though? Like low key though, I ain't gonna hold you. Women will do some of the most innocuous shit, and that's them initiating. Like, you know what I'm saying? As I was listening to you, Delvin, for real, like, if she wears a certain thing, she may not come out and say it, but like to her, that might be, hey, Right now, to be fair to the brothers, that still means we got to go out there and hunt. It's like a piece of steak already sizzled. You know, hey, come and get me. You know, I wish I am hungry. You know what I'm saying? So what so it's not quite initiating. But what I'm saying though is I can see how in a woman's mind she's like, hey, I'm letting you know, come baby, so I'm wasting away for you, whatever, right? But I do also think that men do have to communicate. I feel like if we say, hey, baby, I just want to feel wanted, like we got to take some of the blame too. Do y'all think that dudes are really out here communicating, hey, babe, this is what I want, or they just want her to intimate, to know this? Or you think guys are really communicating that shit? If they are the way that Jay is, then I can see why the woman's not hearing him.
Low communication, yeah.
Because it sounds like he on mute to me. But this is exactly a great example of how men are communicating.
This is how the ladies feel.
Thank you, Jay.
You think you're communicating, you're right, and there's a field blocking it.
Jay proved your point in real time.
In real time. This is how men communicate in relationships. They think they're communicating, but there's nothing coming out of their mouth.
No. There's something coming out. You just don't know you're on mute with her. See what I'm saying?
Well, I see what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, because even in your example, the initiation that she did was still an initiation for the guy. He had to make, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'll give you the lingerie, the dress thing, the change of attire. Same with Delvin. I'll give you guys that. But and a little booty toot up. You know what I'm saying? When you laying your spoon in and she slide her ass up. Yes, like okay, it's universal. Okay, and those kind of count, right? But the text beforehand and all the other stuff, it still puts the onus on the guy. And what the guy's saying is sometimes you just want to come home and get fucked. It's like she want to come home sometimes to get fucked. Sometimes you want to come home and she just hop on it. Or you know what I'm saying, do what you gotta do. You know, that's all they're saying.
Yeah, and it could not be just in her nature, and I think that's the point you were getting at, Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Her initiating sex could look like making it known that she's available, that she's open. Hey, tonight's your night. You just got to come and get it. She may not just run up to you and pull your pants down, but she'll let you know, hey, listen, I'm available.
Okay, that's her initiating, and if that only happens 1 out of 4 of the times that y'all are having sex, right? I'm saying there's a problem.
Okay. It depends. I do, because you said 1 out of 4. Maybe the guy likes being the initiator, right? And I get to your point that some guys sometimes don't want to be the initiator. But again, I think it just depends on what you define as initiation. Because, for example, let's say Shorty toots her booty up to you, right? Like, okay, cool, okay. And you rub her booty, okay? But then as soon as she turns around, she on your Johnson. Who initiated exactly, right? Like, you know, if she tooted her booty, you rub it like a genie, hoping that some magic, like your wishes will be granted. And then instantly she grants her wish. Who initiated there?
She.
Right? And that's what I'm saying. To her, she's like, hey, all I need is a sign. And if you sitting there like, well, damn, I had to initiate that. I'm sorry, my brother, you paid attention to the wrong thing at that point.
Right.
At that point, well, you know what, that one time she tooted her booty, that didn't really count as an initiation. So, you know, for me, I count initiation like, yo, I grabbed her by the ass and I lifted her up and put her, you know what I'm saying? That's my initiation, babe. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you count as initiation?
And to be clear, we're not saying that she rejected him.
Yeah, she's
so
just
we're not talking about rejection.
Of women say they don't often or always initiate. You know what I'm saying?
Head is initiation. For ladies out there, if you want to know what initiation is, I'm gonna tell you. Try it on your man. If he don't like it, it's not for everybody. But 9 times out of 10, better than
okay.
one
So walk
out
us
of 4
through that, Jay. Okay, so for that to be initiation, walk us through that. Pause. I mean, like, did you just get home and you drop your bag down and you're like, oh,
she's
like, what happened? Did you have a conversation first?
Yes.
She's like, yes, exactly that. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So if you said to her, babe, you look really good in that dress, and she just all of a sudden starts going down, did you initiate it or did she initiate it? That's your initiation?
She initiated.
You can't say nothing when you walk in the house.
No. I mean, I was saying it anyway, but I'm saying she took it from, hey, I'm thinking about sex to we are actually having sex. That's initiation.
So you're saying if you come home from work and she's wearing her good robe, that's not initiating sex?
No, it could be laundry day.
That's a fact.
Saying
that's a fact. It's not laundry day. Only time. Hey, if the only time she's wearing some sexy shit is laundry day, y'all are past some conversation checkpoints at that point in time.
but also,
no
Yeah, you gotta need
wonder
to go to
you're
counseling.
that's
complaining
true. That's your time.
about
Jump in there.
her not initiating because she's not even putting sexy shit on, my guy. Like the last time you gonna see her sexy was like Lord knows when. You're like, damn, bitch. You start to look like a roommate at this point in time. I don't even get hard looking at your ass. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But listen, that happens in marriages. And what's crazier is a woman. I don't even know if it's crazier. This woman says she has a secret, in regards to how you can make marriages last even longer for all the ladies out there. This woman opined that the women of yesteryear knew the secret and she recognized what that secret was. And on a panel full of men, I felt this was so appropriate for us to discuss this as the main topic to start the conversation. And she said, the secret is mind your goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? And by mind your business, that means is he taking care of me or no? And that's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying? If he is out there fucking some other woman, then so be it. I don't see it. You heard me. That is the secret. Some of y'all are too busy looking for too much information. Why do that to yourself? She said she don't want to be stressed with all that mess. You heard what I'm saying? So my question to the panel full of men, I really wish there was women here to speak on this, but that's okay. Is she telling the truth? Like, we got to be honest, y'all. Do we just want women to look the other fucking way so that we can go about our business? You know what I'm saying? Is that a secret to marriage that women today should consider?
The deep introspective, you know what I'm saying, kumbaya part of me says, no, she should be able to don't look away. Look at that man, see him for who he is and appreciate him because he is still holding it down for you, right? And these are things things that help power him. You know what I mean? And just take in the wholeness of that man and just appreciate that, ladies. You know what I'm saying? Don't look away. Realize you got you a great one, okay? But now the realistic person in me knows that women aren't going to be able to do that. So, so yeah, the looking away is a boss move. And philosophically, I can still say that in looking away, she recognizes who the guy is. And she says, you know what? This is something I'm not going to focus on, right? Not so much as she is even deluding herself, as just she's put it into place. And I respect that. You know what I mean? She's accounted it into the totality of her man and go, okay, well, even with everything, he's still solid. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. She knows her man. I'm all for it.
You know what? I think this is great advice from our ancestors. Look the other way like your grandmama did. That's how she stayed married to Willie Earl for 50 years. Your grandmother knew about them women. She knew about them, but she didn't go without. The bills got paid. And what was the standard back then? Don't let it come back to my doorstep. And don't embarrass me in public. That's the way they did it back then. And you know what? We were all better for it. You got to enjoy both your grandparents. They were still together. But now everybody wants to be in grown folks' business, as they say. I think that was the secret. Now, I think Willie Earl should just have been more transparent. I know it wasn't the time to say, hey, listen, I want to have these other women, but I'm coming home to you. I'm bringing home the bacon. I'm taking care of everything. So this is just how my program's going to go. Because, guys like to talk about their, program or whatever. But I think that was the move back then. It worked. It worked for a long time. It was just as recently, maybe, I don't know, maybe the last 40 years, they're like, oh, I want this fabulous, great, highly desirable man that's handsome and got a jawline, and I want him to have him all to myself. Like, come on, man. Willie Earl worked at the factory, and he had 2 other families, and your grandmother knew about those women. Go back and listen to Woman to Woman. Barbara knew about Shirley. That was the move. We don't have their Instagram and Snapchat from back in the day, but we have their music. Go back and listen to Woman to Woman. She knew about her because she called her.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest some more, right? How can she look the other way if a nigga is being transparent? Like,
Nice.
y'all niggas, this I get it's the right thing to do to hope that everybody's being honest and transparent about their desires. But the thing about, this question is that there's a reason why looking the other way worked. It was because niggas weren't, you guessed it, transparent. It's really hard
That's
to
fact.
look the other way when the niggas transparently throwing it in your face. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a disconnect because the truth is, if we're going to be honest, a lot of women look the other way already. They'll say things like, I had a gut feeling, but you know what they was doing when they did nothing on that gut feeling? You guessed it. They looked the other way. She knew her man was outside. She noticed his change of habits. She noticed that things were not quite the same. But you know what she did? She looked the other way. Now, the crux of the question is, why is she looking the other way, right? Is it because she doesn't want to see the truth? Those are the dangerous lookaways there, ladies, because if he is out here moving in such a way that it makes it hard for you to look away, then maybe you should leave the relationship. There's a difference between throwing it in your face and being transparent. Throwing it in your face is like, he ain't say shit, but you can tell it's reckless. You can smell the other bitch on him. You know what I'm saying? He is throwing it in your face, but he was not transparent. Okay? There's a difference. So let's go back to this problem solving, because we here at the BLC is all about solving problems. And I'll be honest, I don't think every woman in every situation should look away. So here are some tips in terms of when it might make sense to look away. Right? If the nigga is providing some substantive value to your life where you would be left with less if he left, then maybe you should look the other way. For some people, that may be monetary. For some people, that means he's paying all the bills. Shit, some of y'all might be good with him paying a third of the bills. Okay, there's no real measure here. But if he's bringing enough value, and caveat, if you ain't really fucking them like that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes they gotta reframe some shit. You know what I mean? The nigga only paying 35% of your bills, so why should you have to fuck him 100% of the time? Right? Think about it. Right? he hasn't earned 100% of that coochie, right? So let him go out there and get a side job and a side girl to help satiate the situation. You feel what I'm saying? So there is wisdom in knowing what you can bear, right? And sometimes y'all be going looking for shit, knowing good and damn well you can't deal with it. It's okay to acknowledge those things, right? As long as you see value in that man, in that relationship. And if you ain't really rocking like that, some of y'all be wanting to own the dick, but don't even be using it like that. You selfish motherfucker. Right? So, and then you're causing yourself consternation because you got the dick on lock. The dick want to be free because you ain't giving him none. So it's like you create unnecessary tension. Okay? If he's handling his responsibility, he's not being disrespectful, he ain't Michael Blacksoning you, right? Then look the fucking other way. You get what I'm saying? Like, if it makes sense. Some of y'all are looking the other way and it doesn't make sense. Okay? So for each woman out there, you have to discern whether or not this is a strategy. At the end of the day, what it really boils down to is this woman is talking about a strategy. How do you maintain your life? How do you maintain some satisfaction? You know what I mean? And some peace, right? And sometimes, my final point, looking away can bring you peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, he coming home. You know what I mean? He gonna take care of responsibilities. You know he ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? So why are you gonna disturb your own peace by trying to find some shit? You know what I mean? Some of the best basketball players is a look away. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the look away pass.
Right? Right? It's like you don't even see it coming. You know what I'm saying? And it's like magic, right? Like Johnson, even, right? I mean, if there's a pause there, maybe he was looking away a little too much. So maybe he's a bad example.
I'm not gonna.
That's a fact.
Maybe
I am wondering, to
himself.
your point, why is we hear about this women's intuition? Why does it only work when they think he's cheating. The intuition never works when, like, you know what, my intuition is telling me he needs some head. You don't get to one of that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
For real.
I was thinking the lottery, but I like where you went with it.
My intuition is telling me he needs to clap my cheeks. That's what I wonder why the women's intuition never tells them that.
But let me ask y'all this though, for real, on a serious note, just a quick serious note. Hopefully watch the disclaimer at the top of the show.
Yes.
Some of us are just having fun and being toxic a little bit. But let me ask y'all a question though, for real, like take a little bit more of a serious note, right? I mean, I know we're talking about people looking away, especially women looking away if they figure out like their man might be cheating or whatever. But do y'all think like maybe people could benefit from like looking away from smaller things? Because I feel like we're in a day and age now where people complain or look at everything. Oh, you did this, you did that. And maybe that's causing even more problems in relationships, which is why maybe they're not lasting. Like with all of us becoming mentally aware, using all these words, narcissists or whatever. So do y'all think though that there is a danger that looking too into something may be causing more problems though, for real?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something. I think there's a lot more keeping score, tracking everything as far as who did what, and especially if it's documented or there's chats and screenshots of everything. Especially if you guys are having a text war or a text fight with your lady. All that stuff's kind of hard to look away from, especially because you can always refer back to it. So I think you might be onto something. I think we let a lot fewer things slide that you probably should be. So if you're saying, you know what, there's less picking your battles like the older people say you should do, you're 100% right.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's less acceptance of people in their totality and accepting that people are multifaceted. I think that, what everybody wants to be seen, to be understood, to be known, right? And then, of course, in a relationship, you're looking for that too. But there is that danger that every part that you share or you communicate, it can be criticized. It can become something now that is a topic of concern when it wasn't concern before. The person was happy. You were doing everything. Imagine a guy who is doing everything. His wife is super duper happy, but he's been cheating for the past 2 years. She's happy until she found out he was cheating, and that blows my mind. Here's why it blows my mind. Because she had everything she could possibly want in life. She did. She had it all. This new knowledge that he had more in his life makes her want to throw the whole thing away. It's just weird. So
hold on, man. It's not weird. That's not that weird.
It's okay. If it's not weird,
not me having to break out the estrogen again, Jay. Not me having to break it out again.
Okay, all right.
Damn it, where's
He's
my
like, look what you made me do.
All right, my bad.
No,
So
I
we
mean,
just guys in the room.
come on, man. How she go? Because she had this vision in her head, right? And that man completely broke it with that, little small tidbit, right? Like, oh, I got a whole other life and family over here that you never knew about. Yeah, you're right. How could she not continue to live in her delusion?
That's
I thought
crazy.
you and I was having a whole conversation this weekend about delusion, and here we are. Like, which brings it perfectly back before we go to the next topic, because it goes back to the whole idea of women looking the other way. I think a lot of people, not just women, men too, people have to look away to keep the delusion alive, right? Hey, maybe our marriage is on the rocks. Hey, maybe this person got one foot out the door. Hey, maybe this person no longer loves me. But if I look away, then I can keep the delusion that this relationship is salvageable in mind. You dig what I'm saying? So I hear you, but I think, but that's where I said it before, it's dangerous, right? Because really you're on life support. Really, you need to walk it down. Your relationship is over and you just don't know because you're too busy, you guessed it, looking the other way. Right. Everybody else can see it but you, girl. Your neighbors, the postman, girl, you still here? The people at your job, the people at his job. Everybody know it but you, girl.
So I'm gonna look away into a different part of the game. Okay, so away from the married people, I want to talk about this theory that simps are the outbreak monkey of female narcissists. Right? They are the ones who started it all. This isn't a call. It's shout out to news thing happening right now. Anyway, like the monkeys. Anyway, they started it all though, and here's how they started off. Right? My theory. My theory is that this idea of trying to esteem the woman, right? This has resulted in like an over-validation. Okay. And so it made women feel a little just entitled to a treatment that maybe they're not all worthy for, right? Maybe in the desire that some guys have, to show themselves as supporters of women and supporters of femininity, maybe they leave out the accountability, right? And maybe that's an even bigger problem because you create a monster. What do you think? What do you think?
I definitely think simps are responsible for a lot of the what the kids call wholeflation, the overvaluing of their sexual marketplace value. But I think they are a vital part of the economy because the more simps pay, that's the less the rest of us have to pay. So they're kind of doing the Lord's work in the sexual economy. But having said that, it does create a certain level of entitlement and narcissism that the rest of us have to pay because they think, okay, well, this guy was gassing me up. Now, why aren't all men gassing me up? I'm entitled to this. I had these simps over here giving me this stuff for free. I can kind of elevate myself. I'm on the pedestal. And why aren't these other guys putting me on the pedestal? And so that causes a bit of cognitive dissonance in the lady's head, I think. So, yeah, all right. I mean, simps do play a role in female narcissism, but they are important for the economy so they can take the women out on expensive dates and trips. And when they go to the STKs or Steak 48s, they will get a doggy bag and then they'll bring it home. And the guy they really like can slide by after the simp drops her home and eat the leftovers. So, yeah, shout out to the simps, man. They're doing the Lord's work, but they are causing narcissism.
Whew, Lord have mercy. I feel like we're not telling enough of the truth today, so I must be the person to bring more of the truth to the table. Because let's be honest, first of all, we're not talking about a lot of women here, are we? Well, there's certain women we're not talking about. I gotta separate this for a little bit, right?
All right.
So sorry, ladies, it doesn't apply. Let it fly. So what we're really talking about are the women who are not cute enough to get the type of attention that they may think they're getting from men. Okay, so let's separate it a little bit, right? Meaning that if it was like Jennifer Lopez, like we just talked about Jennifer Lopez a couple of weeks ago, and Jennifer Lopez is a narcissist, right? And at least jokingly, right? We can look at her and understand why. She's motherfucking J-Lo, right? She's had the world and all these different people. So, I mean, we say narcissist, but we'd still hit it. We'd still get with J-Lo for the most part, like whatever word we're using, right? So what we're really talking about are women who are not attractive enough to maybe even get to feel a certain type of way acting like that because guys who are just suckers for anything, right, inflated those women's egos. Because the women whose egos are properly inflated, like we're cool with it. Like we accept it. You know what I'm saying? That's why Hallie's been married 3 times. J-Lo's been married a bunch of times, right? It's because, yep, it's worth it. You know what I mean? She's validated. You know what I mean? So what we're really talking about is the women who out here moving as if they're J-Lo and they're not. Having expectations because maybe they had dalliances here and there, right? Their delusion in thinking that they are more than they are or deserve more than they should get, right? That type of a thing. That's what we're really talking about when we say simps creating narcissists, right? Because we're saying that guys, and I'm not saying this actually, I'm saying the conversation is saying, we gotta be honest, that guys who are beta niggas are out here inflating the egos of beta bitches. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better way to say it. Because the guys who are courting women of value, we wouldn't call them simps, right? And those women who are of value would not be narcissists, right? Because they're of value. They move a certain type. You know, one of my favorite type of women are the humble cute girls. You know what I'm talking about? The ones who ain't really know they cute for real. Like they don't swim in the cute. You know, they know they cute. They blush when you tell them still. They don't even really believe it, or they fake pretend like they don't really. You know what I'm saying? Those are the gems of the world. So we're not talking about y'all. This conversation is specific to that niche of women who think they are more than they are. And sis, I hate to tell you, I'm all choked up. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not. And it's keeping you from your joy. You dig what I'm saying? And to the topic of the conversation, y'all niggas out there are making it worse for these women. You're not helping them. You think your good morning text is really helping you get closer to the vag? No. She is looking at you like you're a stan in the fans. You know what I'm saying? So now she thinks she got fans, and maybe she does, because you're acting like one, right? And so now she's moving through the world like she should be moving behind velvet ropes. Nah, sis, you just got a simp ass nigga who likes you. And in truth, you should probably like him back, because here's
That's a
the
fact.
big gaffe of the whole thing. He is your speed. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's like, you know what I mean? He's the one you should probably be with. You're using him as gas to gas your head up, right? To make you feel better, like there's more options out there. But the niggas you chasing ain't, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? So yes, I think in that small eco of unattractive men and women, right? Women thinking they're better than the men who are right for them, and men are thinking that those women are better than them. They are part of their own problem. Because guess what? I ain't fishing for those bitches. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right? It's like you wouldn't go fishing in a pond where you have trained the fish to look past you, right? It don't make no sense. So ultimately, they're hurting each other. The simp is hurting the ecosystem by inflating these women's heads, and by that, hurting himself. And those ladies are being hurt because they're going to be left with the reality that, sorry, sis, you weren't good enough to bag that nigga. You know what I'm saying? The nigga you should have been bagged by was 2 grocery store lanes to the left when you was leaving the Winn-Dixie. But you thought you was better than that. And so now it's paper or plastic. You know what I'm saying? With your old, lonely ass. But anywho's, go ahead, man.
So I don't know if there's much left on the bone that you guys just
He
completely.
was preaching. He was
You
preaching.
know
I
what I
ain't gonna
mean?
lie.
Well, I'll try to give a little bit here.
Pick up
I'll
my
take the economist standpoint. No, I'm not gonna. I should pause there. I really should. I should. Okay, let me go again. All right. So, from an economic standpoint, okay, simps are bad. Okay, simps are just bad. I know you guys tried to sell that there's this bright side of it and whatever, but they raise the price of coochie. Okay, they do, and it's artificial inflation, right? More than Nick's point, right, about the chick who's not really worth it. And I appreciate, Nick, you saying that we're not talking about all women, because we're not talking about all women. Some of y'all women, you're sweet and you got the character and you're humble. And even if you're beautiful, you got character. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to the people. I'm talking to the people that some guy figured if he just showed up chivalrous enough, like a knight in shining armor or something, without even seeing if she was really a damsel or if she was worth the distress, right? And he just starts lavishing things on her that she's not really deserving of. Lavishing attention, lavishing whatever, okay? Basically, imagine raising a child. I'm not calling women children, but I'm just saying nurturing a relationship
Yeah, so
from the
don't cook
beginning,
us in the comments.
right? They go, but if you're raising a child, and you praise the child for everything, okay? And you praise the child for everything, whether it's something of value or not. You just praise him every chance you get, okay? The child becomes numb to the praise, right? They become A, addicted to it, and B, numb to it at the same time. It doesn't take them as far because they're used to hearing it, but now they need to hear it because they hear it all the time. You can create a narcissist. So I'm saying, if she does something that's tight, yeah, that's tight, girl, that's good. But fellas, y'all got to stop all this just every woman is a queen. Listen, if they all queens, we're the peasants.
That's a fact. You know what? To you guys' point, you know, some of these guys, and I like how Nick made distinction. They're creating 49ers, 4s who think they are 9s, and that's the problem. You got too many 49ers. Okay. Now, well, I do have to push back on you a little bit, Nick. They're not raising the price for all guys. They're raising the price for the guys they don't want. For the guys that those women do want, he's getting it on the low anyway, or for free. So the price is being raised for the guys that they aren't interested in to begin with. So that's where the inflation comes. The jawline Chad guy that she wants, you know, Walmart Tavius, he's gonna always get it on the low. So the inflation doesn't affect him, right?
Yeah, but you see, this is the problem I have with that analogy there, my good brother Delvin, is that we assume that Walmart Tavius is hitting that. A lot of them ain't getting it, my brother. They're not. They're not even getting it from Walmart Tavius, my brother, is what I'm trying to tell you. They don't be outside like that. They don't be mixy like that. I'm talking about just average regular, everyday women for the most part, right? They'll look down on the dudes that they have proximity to and not have the actual proximity to the dudes they want, is what I'm saying. You assume that Walmart Tavius or whatever stag, nigga is hitting it. I'm telling you, bro, a lot of them aren't getting piped down like that. A lot of them. That's why you hear so many of them talk about being celibate like it's by choice. You know what I'm saying? It's not. She just couldn't find somebody that she was attracted to and comfortable with fucking. And so she said, no. You know what I'm saying? All that's in her field is niggas who don't want to fuck her. And that's what I'm saying. Like, women just got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It's for their own fucking sakes. You know, and again, the women who are getting scratches, sniff coochie, you know what I'm saying? Like a nigga just come around every now and then and see what's up with you. You hit it and then he bounce, right? Okay, cool. Like if she thinks that that's some long-term relationship, cool. But I'm telling you, even women in those situations know that they're getting the short end of the long stick. You know what I'm saying?
Pause.
You like that?
That pun's unintentional.
Right? So I feel like we always assume that these women are getting dick down. And I'm like, nah, bro. A lot of them are not getting dick down. And they be getting in their own way of getting dick down. You know what I'm saying? And the niggas that are dicking down, they may be looking past some of these bitches, dog. Like some of them ain't worth dicking down, dog, just because there might be a reason nobody's hitting that. You know what I'm saying? A multitude. Right? Am I tripping?
Not as usually.
No,
but I will give a disclaimer here. Because I know when we use the word narcissist, right? And I know we joke around. It's just jokes, y'all, right? Because a narcissist is far more than we're joking, we're talking about, right? But we are serious, though. I think that there's a lot of women out here with inflated egos. We can say at the very least that. Maybe there's some people, some delusion out here as well. And I think that's the problem, right? In the economy. Anytime somebody overvalues something that the market is clearly telling you does not fit, you're going to have shit sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, it goes on sale. Right?
Like
so
those
don't
Stanley
go on sale,
cups.
ladies. Yeah. I mean, don't be on the clearance rack. You know what I mean? But speaking of something that is on the clearance rack, apparently Big Sean and Jhene Aiko's relationship, you know what I'm saying, is 90% off. You know
that was good. I see where you're going. 90% off.
I mean, because, we don't know for sure, but rumor has it that they are donezo after 10 years. In fact, I do recall us talking about this a while back on the BLC Pod when Big Sean was on, I believe, the Breakfast Club talking about marriage or stumbling through the question, if I remember correctly, in regards to marriage. Does that have anything to do with why their relationship is kaputs, right? As men and her being in a relationship, they got a kid together, at least one, right? If I'm not mistaken. Was 10 years like, hey, nigga, you gonna marry me or no? Did he make that mistake? And now that it's coming back to me, I'd have to go back to the previous episode. But I remember thinking, like, I think he made a mistake there because then he made it hot for himself in terms of the conversation. And so just coincidentally, right, it is kaput. So there's so much here. Fellas, do you think that it's likely that maybe she was like, nah, nigga, you gonna, bust the ring out or no? Right? Is 10 years too long to be a girlfriend? What are your thoughts about the breakup? How do we feel?
Man, I feel like she's, I can't blame her. I honestly can't blame her. Because apparently she wanted more. And after 10 years, if he hasn't delivered more, he's probably not going to deliver more, probably after 7 years. And it was just ironic because I think that goes back to probably the time of the interview. I kind of got to look at Big Sean like, if one hand, like if it was my sister, I might be upset with it, okay? If it was my sister, I might be like, dude, why didn't you just tell her that you really wasn't never going to make a move? You know what I mean? Now, dude to dude, that's his business. And I'll be like, hey, bruh, I guess she was still trying to figure it out. I guess she was like, if she stay, she must be good. And she stayed. But that math doesn't always work out. You know what I mean? Sometimes they get sick of you right when you get ready to do right. And maybe that's Big Sean's case. I don't really know. I do know this, though. 10 years is a long time to be in the friend zone if you had aspirations of being something else. And if it wasn't going to be something else, then I would have hoped he or anybody in this situation would have talked to the girl and said, listen, marriage is not my thing. Excuse me. Marriage isn't my thing. I'll be committed to you. You know what I mean? I'll do whatever a relationship looks like with you. But marriage is just not my thing. And that should have been how he answered the question, if he was going to do that. But yeah, man, 10 years, either poop or get out the pot, bro. What do you think, Delvin?
Yeah, I mean, I can't defend this. That's a long time. I mean, and I just looked it up. She's 37, so she's been with this guy since she was 27. You just burned all your prime years. I mean, not that 37. I mean, technically 37 is middle age given half, average life expectancy, right? The guy's not serious. I mean, World War II didn't take this long. This is crazy. This is the 12 years of girlfriend thing that I like to say, but this is pretty damn close. This is really, really hard to defend. You gave the guy a kid. He's still talking like, oh man, I'm just taking it day by day. I'm trying to see something. Maybe he saw something in her that's like, man, listen, this is as far as it's gonna go. I don't see this progressing to marriage at any point. But at some point, it just ran itself out, done its course. I can't really see how you justify being a girlfriend. I wouldn't recommend this to my sister. Any woman I really gave a shit about, like, man, this decade, man, this is your year, 10 years plus one, But hey, you know what? On the bright side, if there is a bright side, they lasted longer than a lot of people's marriages. Average marriage is like 7 years. Hell, the average black marriage, I think, is like 5. So they've doubled that. It's like, for what that's worth, they lasted longer than the average black marriage. That's the only silver lining I can find in this.
Yes. We were on our last topic before we end the show. And I'm so glad that you guys chose to take the estrogen on this topic. So that
we didn't want you to have the burden all to yourself.
I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in my heart of hearts, I want to agree with y'all. But in my pot of pods, I don't. I want to take the male perspective on this. And so here we go. First of all, she made that choice the entire time. Every year, every day, she decided to be in that relationship with that man, right? She made that choice. She knew she had a ring on her finger. You know what I'm saying? She saw the same interview I saw. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Apparently, Big Sean did not come up big enough for her in the end, right? But she knew what she was getting herself into the entire time. You know what I'm saying? She had a baby with him. You know what I mean? Continue to be with him. So I hear y'all in terms of maybe he did tell her that. Right? Maybe she's a little delusional too, like most of these women are, thinking that the fairy tale is going to end at the pot of the road, even though this brother is telling you, I got some mental issues. I'm going through some things. He's been going through some things these past couple of years, right? Like, I mean, does he not even get grace for that? Like, yo, I'm going through some depression or whatever he had going on. I mean, I'm sure she probably stuck with him a little bit longer because of that, right? But I mean, is he not allowed to go through a human experience? Right? Like he got to put a ring on it because, she needs a ring. But what if he's showing up for her in all the other ways? Right? And even if you say, well, you know what, Nick, if that's what she wants, cool. But listen, don't sit there and blame me if you was rocking out with me for the past 10 years and it was cool. And maybe you was doing it because you love me, whatever. But shit, if it didn't work out, you could bounce. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I wasn't treating you like my queen the entire time. It doesn't mean that maybe I wasn't going through some real shit the entire time. So I do get like, yes, the ring is the thing, but maybe it's not for some people. Right? And I don't know how much she communicated herself, how much she needed that. Some women might be like, well, you know what, baby, as long as I got you, I'm going to ride with you. Right? And then they get a little bit older. Maybe shit changes. Well, shit changed for you, but it didn't change for me. Shit, we talked about this. You know what I'm saying? I like our little situation. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Right? All I'm saying is that it's okay for people to change. It's okay for them to break up if that's what they want. Right? But we don't necessarily got to make it seem as if somehow he should have done a thing by a particular point in time. Right? I do get it. Right? But at the same time, like there are adults who can make choices. And I feel like a lot of times, and this is the biggest thing for me, a lot of times people don't communicate what they really want for real. Right? They either assume that people know and then the shit don't work out. Then it's like, you got to point the other person like he should have known better. I don't know. Maybe he felt so comfortable in that interview in a way that I would not because maybe I assumed certain things. Maybe he knew, hey, listen, man, this is the reality. I thought if he felt that comfortable talking to Charlamagne and we could point out, damn, dog, you said that, then clearly he was having those conversations with Shorty the entire time. The entire time. Right? So then when these women out here hold themselves in a delusion, we just said just a couple topics ago, looking the other way, right? Maybe the truth was staring her ass in the face the entire time. And what was she doing? Looking the other way. It ain't like her career has been popping. So it's not like she didn't have the ability or the wherewithal. No, I'm saying Jhene Aiko is amazing as a talent and stuff like that, but she hasn't been out. She's not dropping albums. She's not outside like that. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, in terms of being busy career-wise, right? So she would have enough time to kind of see for herself, well, what life am I living? Am I happy? Am I satiated? Am I satisfied? right? So she must have been, I'm assuming, up to a point. We don't know what changed, right? But if the idea is that she waited enough and that's what she decided to move on because of, then I got to question that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like it just happened yesterday, not after 10 years, right? And I think at the same time, Big Sean has been very open about his challenges and his travails. And so I got to give him some credit that maybe he's also been open to her about where he's been this entire fucking time. You get what I'm saying? So yes, I'm going to speak up on behalf of Big Sean and men who are going through like challenges sometimes, emotionally or mentally and otherwise. And hopefully the women that says that they love him will hold him down as he goes through that. But don't fucking hold me down. And the minute that you think I'm good, decide to bounce. You're like, woo! You know what I'm saying? It'll make the support you show me look different. No, and I only say this because I was watching what's the show? Breaking Bad, right? And so old girl was ready to leave his ass. So she went to the doctor after he had cancer. And was like, hey, doc, how you feeling? He's like, is he healthy enough? As soon as the doctor was like, yup, that bitch was gone. Okay? I'm not saying that's what Jhene Aiko did. And she has all her right to make the choices that she made. I am just saying that I want to consider my brother Big Sean a little bit more than y'all brothers did. So Big Sean, I feel you, my bro. I'm sure he's probably hurt by it. But stand on your shit. Don't sit there and all of a sudden we hear about y'all getting, engaged because she pressured you like some of these women do. This may not be the moves that women do when it's like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to lose anyway. Fuck it, it's over. And hope that he just reaches back around with the romance. And sis, if he does, your ass better say no, okay? That type of manipulation is not going to work out for you.
Right. Nick say you don't want to hear about y'all getting back together. So you don't want to hear about them getting back together.
Listen, if you think post-nut clarity is a thing, wait until you get like post-engagement clarity or wait till you get post-marriage clarity.
That's real.
It's like, I should have stayed gone.
If you think post-nut clarity is crazy, my brother, post-marriage clarity could be a doozy.
Crystal.
It tends to cost more too as you go along, right? Anywho's, man, listen, any further thoughts on this topic or any other topics? I feel like we were sufficiently toxic without the ladies, without S&M in the building. Unless I got some more before we get up out of here. Any final thoughts, man?
Want to say, Miss S&M, of course. Heart go out to you. Shout out, girl. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? We having to play the estrogen role, be every woman. It's hard out here, especially when half the things that, you know what I'm saying, Nick said on behalf of the women, I still don't particularly think made a lot of sense. So, but that may be me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should have worn my emotional ears. But nah, man, enjoyed the show. And, I just want to give one more word of advice to Michael Blackson, and that is go with one of the three chicks that you nutted in. Matter of fact, go with all three, basically, man. Just shift over. You've lost that one, sir. It's time to pivot. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, man, listen, a lot of the notes I picked up from this was uncommunicated expectations. Whether you want to be in a relationship for, 18 months, 10 years, or you want to have more sex or more sex initiated upon you, communicate that to people. They are not fucking mind readers. This is uncommunicated expectation. That's not fair, and stop doing that shit. Tell them people what you want.
Yes, tell the people what you want. A couple things real quickly. One, I want to say happy birthday to me, goddamn. You know what I'm talking about? Happy birthday to me. And it's funny to say that because, man, 48, y'all. Like, you sit back, you look, I'm still here at 48. And I'm a gratitude person. So I'm just thankful to everyone who showed me love, who kicked it with me. Jay, my boy, we kicked it, had a great and amazing time. Family and friends who reached out to you, boy. I really appreciate that love for real, S&M. We love you, girl. And she held us down. Absolutely. That was the best birthday present you probably could have gave me, just holding down the BLC pod the way that you did. A couple of quick, we didn't talk about this, but there's apparently this AI-powered home robot for like about $20K. And it can do all kinds of shit around the house. You know what I'm saying? And I know that some of the conversations we have around the gender war, centered around the women's role at the home, somebody has finally put a value on what that is, and it's $20,000.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
So, fellas, you now have a goal in your mind that if you can just at least get an extra $20K, you know what I'm saying? Now the leverage changes. What else are you bringing to the table? The table conversations change with the AI-powered home robot now. It's like, if I'm bringing
What
the
a time to
home
be alive.
and the robot, bitch, what are you bringing to the table? Just be careful, y'all. Apparently, technology is going to be doing more than just AI. This robot gonna be fucking soon. You know what I'm saying?
And then really, what do you bring to the table?
It's only one pocket pussy away from becoming.
Yeah.
One
You know what I'm saying? But no, in all sincerity, man, we had a great time chopping it up and talking our talk. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. S&M, we love you, girl. Hopefully you'll get back with us soon. Love to your fam. And on behalf of myself, Just Jay, Delvin the Expert, we will see y'all next time. Until then, be easy.
Holla.
Peace.
Peace. We're going to bring it right on back, because why not bring more toxicity right to the table before we get up out of here? Birthday weekend loading still, all right? So this one lady on a podcast was talking, and she had to be white, I think. She was a white woman. Was she mixed or was she white? I don't remember.
I think she looked biracial.
She was biracial. Heavy on the white, though. She was heavy on the mayonnaise, I think. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I just want to give you guys some context. She was on a
podcast. Check real quick.
But she was on a podcast saying that women secretly want to have a train choo-choo ran on them, right? And that got me to thinking, number one, is that true? But then number one was, what's a train? Right? Because I feel like this is people have different ideas of what a train is. That's number one. Number two, is it true? Like, do a majority or a lot of women, do you guys think a lot of women have this fantasy of having a train ran on them, right? And then lastly, number three, as men, if you either knew that your old lady, your wife's significant other, had a train ran on her, would you feel some type of way? Or, So what are your thoughts about the train conversation? You know what I'm saying? Do y'all think women secretly want to have a train ran on them? What is a train, and how would you feel?
Okay, we got to start off. We got to define terms, okay? All right. So a threesome is a man or three people. So it stops there. The train is when you got guys and they're like sitting outside they're going in one at a time, and they're sitting outside the room like at a doctor's office. They're going in one at a time, and one guy leaves out, the other guy goes in. And past that, it's just like, if it's like three or four guys are all in the room with it, that's a gangbang. So those are different things. Some guys don't care, can't tell a difference, but that's what those terms mean. But I think most guys, they would be sick. They throw up in their cornflakes. They'd probably even go cry in the car, but I don't know if they would really actually leave. Maybe we talked about this before. Maybe if nobody knew about it except him, it was on her heart. She wanted to confess, and nobody knew about it. He might feel some kind of way. He would feel some kind of way, but I don't think a lot of guys would leave. They'd go back and eat their Salisbury steak or whatever she cooked that night. But I don't know that they're going anywhere. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that I agree with you. There's a difference between like a threesome, right, spit roast or whatever, and an orgy, and a gangbang, right, with like multiple people in the room, and a train where there's just person after person. I think a train probably could still have two people coming in and out of the room. Probably still be a train. I think it's the repetitiveness of it. And I think the repetitiveness of it, or the fact that there's so many people, is probably where the guy is going to pause, choke. And that's because he's now got to ask himself some questions. You know what I mean? Like, does she need a lot of penis to do whatever? Because I can only supply one at a time, right? Not only does she need like more than one at a time, does she need a plethora to be satisfied? I think that's why the guy would be sick. I think that's why he'd be trouble. Now, in the same breath, I tell the guy to get over it. I tell the guy to get over it, because unless you married a virgin, sir, Sir, in its own sense, it was something of, if that was your issue, then the train thing already happened, okay? A few guys went in it before you, and they took their turn. That is what it is, okay? Now, the fact that it may have happened over a span of years, as opposed to a span of hours, that might be a reason for concern. You know what I mean? Unless you like a freak. You know what I mean? I went to a party once, and a guy introduced his wife as a gangbang queen. I was like, oh, well, Your Highness. I mean, I wouldn't have done that if it was my wife, you know what I mean? And I don't think I would have married a gangbang queen, but he did. So apparently there's value out there. Apparently being a woman who used to be an engineer, you know what I'm saying, and ran with the cabooses or whatever, apparently that's not a complete turnoff for everybody, right? But I do understand
Right.
it can be a little problematic because the guy's got to wonder, what does this say about her appetite and her needs for satiation, right? And then he's got to wonder if he can match that or if he's willing to match that. Now, whether or not he bounced, I think it depends on how many people know. Actually, I don't even, part of it, whether or not he bounces and comes back depends on how many people know. How he navigates the future of that relationship is going to depend on his ability to just accept the present, right? And just turn a blind eye to the past.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, because you kind of hinted on it. Does the sexual dynamic of their relationship change how he responds to it? Like, if she tells him this, but in their marriage, she's been really prudish and conservative, and she only does sloppy toppy for his birthday and their anniversary, but she used to be gangbang McGee. Does that change things, or would it?
I think it does. And it's funny that I would think it does because earlier I was saying the woman finds out the man was cheating and she's been happy all this time. Why would she be tripping, right? Well, here's my thing though. Because it's a complete code switch, right? If she's purporting to be something else, and you find out that she's this other thing, then you're like, hey, why didn't you introduce me to this other side of you,
That was
right?
her
And this other
past. That's not the same. That was her
wait,
past. She can say
what?
that was her past.
It's a past.
She's
The
changed.
dude cheating 2 years ago was a past. You know what I'm saying? Even if
That's
you
not
cheated
the
2 years,
same. If he's saying that, hey, she was doing gangbangs 20 years ago, now she been with you, she hasn't been. That doesn't mean that he's necessarily close, which just could mean that she changed or at least decided not to do that anymore. Right. And I feel like y'all guys missed out of all the reasons that y'all feel like that a guy could be upset about a woman that's being promiscuous in regards to her sexual prowess and all that. Could it just possibly be that a person does not have an attraction to someone who doesn't have value in themselves? Like, if a woman is moving in such a way that she doesn't show value for herself, then why would I have value in her? Even if I do fuck her, right? A lot of times I think when a person looks like a gangbang situation, it's not just, oh my God, she has this insatiable sexual appetite. It's like, oh, damn, you don't really love you like that, do you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying in the outside of lifestyle, most people see this type of behavior in porn. And most of the time, despite how well the lady is acting, it's just not attractive to see a line of niggas just stroking their fucking whatevers to just wait to like, it just feels like, maybe I'm taking the estrogen on this one. It's not like, I'm saying the alternative to it just being, oh my gosh, she can take a lot of dicks, maybe I can't measure up. Part of that could also, another argument can be is yuck. Like, you don't really value yourself. Like, whether it's right or wrong, right? I'm sure there are all these people who are moving in sexual spaces that are doing it because they have thought through, they're healthy, they're thoughtful, but come on, man. Some of us has fucked enough women out here to know that some of these women out here are emotionally distraught. You know what I'm saying? That they are, fucking for feelings. They're fucking for bags. So what I'm saying is that to some men, and people, it's like, well, damn, shorty, you don't value you, so how can I love you? Unless you're a Captain Save-A-Ho, which when you think about even that in and of itself, for a captain to save a hoe suggests that he thinks that, hey, she's a damsel. Why? Because she's doing some shit that she wants to be doing. The only damsel comes from the fact that he has to assume that it's not what she really wants to be doing. Because what person would really want to be doing this? And the way that you're doing it. If you're talking about having multiple partners, I think you can look at a threesome and be like, oh, that could be cute. That could be whatever, right? If you're talking 2 guys and a girl, if that's what her fantasy, maybe her husband's open-minded, great, I can see that. If you're talking about lifestyle, I totally get it. That's a whole different thing. I'm just talking about this idea that when some of these people were moving, because in college, there wasn't lifestyle back then. There were girls who were getting gangbanged, and I can't imagine no nigga thinking he's gonna wife any of her up. right? And it wasn't because, oh, niggas couldn't handle. No, it was because yuck. I'm not finna sit here and have what feels like less value on my arm. Why would I do that? I'm not making the judgment on whether it is or it isn't. I think there are people who can move sexually in a way that retains value, right? Or it leads to the crowd and to the proximity of people that they're rocking with. But if you're talking about somebody who is just having the traditional gang bang and being slutted out, right, which is a terminology that many of us use when we describe these things outside of the community, then yeah, there's a reason why that nigga won't. And Delvin, it depends on when he finds out. Not like if they're in a good relationship, then yeah, it may weather the storm. But if she's been moving there on the rocks, this might be the one last thing he needed to find out to say, bitch, I'm out.
Oh, yeah, that's a wrap.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Let her not be sucking dick properly when he finds out she was out there hoeing it up and doing a gangbang.
Oh,
right? Because
Yeah,
to Jay's point, if he finds out, bitch, it's a wrap because what the fuck? I'm already unhappy. I don't give a fuck. You better conjure that shit back the fuck up. You better go back into that closet and find the hole that you was before for me. You know what I'm saying? If you want
Bring
me
her
to
out.
stay. Yeah.
Bring her out.
Yeah, man. But but a person finding out, depending on what they find out, I mean, it could definitely be a challenge for that man to see, because there's a lot of men, I think, that they have this image of who their wives are, right? Part of the whole Madonna whore complex thing, I guess, right? And so depending on how you valued shorty, to find out that that's not who you, because Jay, I think where I disagree with you wasn't that it was necessarily like like it wasn't like she was lying today. I'm saying the case can be made that she was lying then and that you've been tricked this entire time, right? Because she could literally have become the person that she is today. And so you have to reconcile whether or not you want to leave that person today. But if I feel like you got me under false circumstances, like buying a home that you found out some people were killed in, right? Oh shit, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have bought the home, right? It's like there are certain things you should disclose before you buy the home. Legally, I'm a real estate person. These are some things. So I feel like that may be a thing that some men will feel like, well, damn, I wish I knew you had that many bodies, which coincidentally is actually an apt analogy to the whole home. You know what I'm saying? You see what I did there? Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Even in Overdrive, on the humble. right? The home. Anyway, so I could see a guy, you know what I'm saying, depending on how so to Jay's point, like if you knew, she had a couple bodies, you would not be that shocked. But if she presented herself as someone who had a very small number of bodies, the fact that she would have been in a gangbang, she said, oh, I got 5 niggas. So you find all 5 at the same time, that shit would fuck you up. You're like, you thought it was 5 over 5 years. You didn't know it was 5 over 5 hours or 5 over 5 minutes.
I told you I only been with 5 guys.
and if I'm also being honest, and can we be honest for a second, y'all? Okay, I'm not saying that I have been a participant in a train-like situation, right? But I have guy friends, really popular guys who have their way with women out here. And for some reason, I get the impression, and fellas, correct me if I'm wrong, right? If you've heard the same thing. But a lot of times when these brothers are interacting with the Amtrak, there isn't a bunch of reference there. It's not like those brothers are sitting there like, hey, man, let's leave a tip. You know what I mean? We got to put it back the way we found it. You know what I'm saying?
We got to be good stewards.
Let me go ahead and write this down before we get up out of here. I feel like if you have been on that side of the train, come on, ride the train and ride it. I think I can. No. Okay, I'm by myself on this one.
But no, usually passengers are not very courteous or very respectful of the transport. They're not. They just do what they want to do, and they go. They don't even clean up after themselves. So yeah.
Have you been on the MTA lately? I mean, come on. It's crazy on public transportation. So all I'm saying is I can see why a person would just be more yuck than they would be, you know what I'm saying?
The average vanilla person, yes, would be.
Yeah, I made the caveats. I did give some caveats to my more experienced, technicians out there, or travelers. Is that what they call me? I don't know.
Travelers, yes.
Is that
fellow travelers? Yeah.
Well, listen, we done got in trouble before for talking sex, so we're going to just stop now before we get ourselves into any more trouble.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week. Hopefully, S&M will be back with us. Until then, be easy, y'all.
Yeah.